Hi there, my name is Madison, and I am a program manager at Google working in our legal department. I attended the University of Michigan and specifically studied in the School of Information and got a Bachelor of Science in Information Studies. And I had a concentration in user experience research and design. Haven't really touched that since I was in school, but that's officially what I graduated with. Prior to college, I attended high school in Maryland, and my favorite subject at the time was probably English. I also really loved a journalism class that I took, as well as yearbook. I also really loved being in band, so just like a lot of like creative classes wherever I could. I realized that I liked those things after I had, I think, just a little bit more exposure to them. I picked up the clarinet kind of on a whim when it came to band, and then when it came to journalism, I had a teacher who was actually the journalism teacher. I had him for English. He told me about his like journalism class, and then that unlocked the door for yearbook. So it was really mostly just like talking to other students who had gone through those programs and had decided just sort of like what felt right. I knew I didn't want to do certain like clubs or activities or take some certain classes, and it was nice that one of the things that I liked about high school was having that choice. I, in terms of like working at Google, I decided back when I was a senior in college that I was just going to apply for whatever jobs were basically available. And I liked the idea of getting my foot in the door with a company and then working my way towards perhaps more of what I really liked doing just by getting additional experience. So when I first started at Google, I was basically doing customer service for Google Ads products. And then once I got into the company and had some exposure there, I was able to find out like different jobs. Like when I was in school, in high school, I didn't know that like what being a program manager was, or even like what being a project manager or anything along those lines. And it was only with seeing folks who did it that I knew that it was even a possibility. And just getting to try it was really helpful. I think that's one of my biggest pieces of advice. Like, if you can get any experience in different areas that sound interesting to you, go try it, see if you actually like it before you fully commit to doing those things. And then in my profession, there's tons of career options. I obviously work in tech, but I don't have a super tech background. In college, I did take some coding classes, and so I know how to think like a programmer. And I used to be able to write some programs, but that skill has sort of faded with time. But I think there's this misconception that to work in tech, you have to be an engineer. And I actually work with mostly non-engineers. I work with a bunch of lawyers currently. I work with a bunch of folks who are interested in policy and law, but aren't necessarily lawyers. On some previous teams that I've had at Google, I've worked with people who are focused on content writing and operations and customer support. So if there's anything that you're interested in, like, there are definitely roles available for you. And I think it's just important to get as much exposure to different types of jobs that you can, and know that like even if you make a choice, that doesn't have to be your career forever. You're allowed to make other choices too. And you aren't, whatever classes you take in high school or college, like that is not a super prescriptive path. Like, there's a lot of flexibility.